Welcome to the Jockey Club, a podcast looking at the movie Let It Ride, one scene at a time. My name is Dan Delgado, and we're at historic Hialeah Park where one man is having the best day of his life.
I'm having a good day.
So come on in and hang out while we talk about this day and the greatest movie of all time, Let It Ride. Don't worry about that guy at the door. I've got you covered. You can even
take my seat to the Jockey Club.
Welcome back to the Jockey Club, a look at the movie Let It Ride, one scene at a time. We are up to episode 14, which means that we are doing the 14th scene of Let It Ride. And really, it's the 14th scene according to me. And today, we're taking some liberties because really, we're doing two scenes. They're short, but they are two different scenes. First is the scene where Trotter and Cheeseburger watch the second race, and then we're moving right to the very next scene where Trotter collects his winnings. Joining me yet again to discuss this scene is Eric Delgado, my former radio co-host, a gambler, and the person I saw Let It Ride with all the way back in 1989. And if you're playing along at home, this is from minute 34:54 to 36:18. So now, let's head on up to my usual table at the Jockey Club and discuss the 14th and sort of 15th scene of Let It Ride. All right, so you're ready to discuss the 14th scene of Let It Ride. And really, it's 14 and 15 is what we're talking about here, Eric. We're doing two. We're doing two quick ones, and they're too short. So let's combine them into one.
Oh,
okay
so
with this?
Yeah, so it's like a quinella.
It's like a quinella, yes.
Right?
It's much like the name of the Mary Woronoff character,
I
Quinella.
know. How funny, right? Did you guys already talk about that?
Yeah, absolutely, yes.
That's so, and when would you have known that, right? They never.
You'd never know unless
Nope.
you're looking at the credits or you're reading the screenplay.
Exactly.
That's it.
Right.
That's it.
So who is that for? Either they're just having fun, or because in 1989, maybe you're thinking when they get a hold of the VHS copy. I mean, even sitting in the theater, are you going to pick that up? What is she like, 11th build or something?
Right. I kind of wondered if she maybe was intended to have a bigger role when they first started it, because it seemed like she would have had, I don't know, at least another scene. Like, that's basically her only scene.
Yeah.
She shows up when he's running through.
Yes.
Right? She says, where are you going or something like that. And then I think she's one of the people at the end who is rooting for him to win. But
Yep.
I don't know. There's something about that one crazy scene that she has, which it's completely bananas, right? Where
Yes.
she becomes like the otherworldly creature for a moment.
Yes.
That makes me think that she was meant to show up somewhere else in the movie.
Boy, I'd love to know, because I'm not sure if I have ever really thought that. I've just thought that it's your best indication that something otherworldly is going on,
Yes.
And I don't know if they want to hammer that home any further than that. I think they just want to tease it a little bit, but it's a hell of a tease.
Right? Yeah.
It's
It really is. It really is. All right, so let's start with not this scene. Let's just talk a little bit about what we just talked about in the previous episode, and that is after the first race, Trotter has won, and he's bebopping along, right? He's
Yes.
just sort of strutting through, and here comes Cheeseburger, who had mocked him relentlessly about picking charity as his first bet, right?
Olympic
And now-
level, yes.
Yeah, and now it is the complete opposite. Mr. Trotter?
Yes.
Right? And so begging him, what do you have another pick, please? He's giving him the single dollars as he's walking down, right?
Yeah.
So, and honestly, is there another character other than Cheeseburger who seems to believe in Trotter? Like, all of his friends, all of the other people, they've already shunned him by now.
Yeah. Well, I think it's definitely right. The character's just strange. Everything about it is strange because not only that, but Trotter, the way he handles it when Cheeseburger comes along, it's like Trotter's the sweetest guy ever right here, because he should totally shun him back.
Yeah, he really should.
Right?
He really should. Yeah, considering how secretive he was about that first pick, here it's just like, yeah, I'll tell you. There you go.
Right. And I'll tell you this, it probably won't be too big a factor, but there's no doubt that when you have information like this, you're going to consider the fact that by telling too many people, it will affect the odds. Mm-hmm. So you won't need a whole lot more incentive to shut somebody out than that. The fact that he the way he treated him is totally a reason. You know, I've sat there with a couple of friends sometimes, with friends sitting there getting ready to pick something, and I've been like, yeah, I'm not going to tell them about this part.
I was just going to ask you if that's happened with you. I was just going to ask you that exact question. Really? So and this is simply because I don't want to get a penny less than I could get.
Right. And now I'll tell you, yeah. Now, the difference is, though, when I would do this is at Highlight, where unfortunately you've got dwindling receipts over there. And so, like, I mean, you know, you could bet the whole trifecta. You could bet, like, every part of it, and and you'd be guaranteed to lose money, you know, for sure, because the pool is too small. So I would say, yeah, if I'm at the track with thousands and thousands of people on a regular basis, I'm probably not going to be thinking about that as much. But yes, definitely that was a thing where I was like, oh, you're going to spend $100 on the other part? Oh, okay, interesting. Gotcha.
You're not going to talk anybody out of their foolish bet.
Right. Oh, yeah. You're putting that money into my potential winnings? Okay. Gotcha. That's another $8 coming to me.
Yeah, so here, Trotter, who, I don't know, it seems as though in this moment, maybe based on the interaction with Quinella, and coupled with the fact that he's already won a race, he's maybe in some sort of zen-like state, right?
Yes.
And
yeah. He's high as a kite.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. Yeah. No, that definitely factors in. Right, he's feeling benevolent.
Yes.
Right? And, you know, and Cheeseburger has seemingly changed his ways.
I guess.
In the moment, you know, Trotter, Mr. Trotter, sir, you know.
Yeah.
So, and he's even offering, is it dollar bills?
I am positive that it is. I don't know for sure, but what do you think Cheeseburger is really? What do you think that guy really has? You
for
think he's got
$1,
he's giving fives?
I don't think so. I had hopes it was a bigger bill. I can never tell. But really, that hurts me even more. That Trotter's just giving it. He's basically giving the information away.
He's basically, yeah, I know. It does bother you like a little bit. Like, yeah, it does.
Yeah.
All right, so now we're gonna get to the scene that the first of the two quick scenes that we're here to discuss. And so, also, I think you're really good for this because you may have had somewhat of a similar experience. All right.
Okay.
And this is where Trotter and Cheeseburger, who have now made the same bet, they're watching the race. And Trotter doesn't go back out to watch it on the rail like I guess he normally would. He now goes into sort of like, would we consider this like a simulcast room where they're, you know, it's just the closed circuit television that he's watching it on. He's in a room with three other guys. And, you know, actually, I got to say, this has just occurred to me as we're talking about this. I've always thought they're in a private room watching this, like some simulcast area. But I believe in the background, now that I'm thinking about it, you can see the hamburger place that Quinella works at.
No,
so he's just in, like, the grandstand, right?
Yeah, he's just in. They just found, like, a rando TV.
Okay.
Which they've got those, you know, like, well, we were just at the stadium at the Mets game, and it's like, yeah, if you're buying concessions, you can keep an eye on. No, it's okay. This is how, with my experience, when I've looked at this, I've looked at it differently, which is like, I guess they just chose, we're going to give them another look at what goes on at the track. And I guess that's what they were searching for. And this does happen, but personally, this almost would never happen unless there's some, you know, there have been times, okay, like I'll give you an example. There have been times where I have gone to again, highlight with a little bit of a system, right?
Okay,
Like there's
yeah.
some nights where I'm just betting X number of trifectas. I'm betting these numbers. I'm not betting players. I'm betting straight up numbers. And, there's ways that stuff, would work out technically. Like, yep, these numbers come in more often. So in certain situations, I've done that. And then I've watched it because and it's weird, right? But I feel like I have less impact on what's going on because I didn't pick players,
Okay.
So I'm just looking for the numbers. So I'll put less importance on sitting there. Like, how it is when you're watching, like the Mets game. You almost feel like, look, we talk about like we got work to do.
Absolutely. Yes.
Right?
Yes. We're going to watch this game, but it's like we have work to do. Yes. And it does feel like work, by the way.
Right. It's oh my gosh. It's the hardest job. It's the hardest job in sports of all the hard jobs of teams, right? Yeah. We picked the hardest one, the ditch diggers. So, yeah, because somehow, and any sport fan out there can relate to this, you must feel like you're impacting it. So this situation is the opposite. And it's strange to me because he did just let it ride, and he let it ride way bigger at it than he has at any point. Like, he put $700 down on this bet.
Mm-hmm.
And
yes,
so
he certainly does.
This would be the one, talk about needing my faith healed. In order to make this bet, I'm going to feel like, yeah, I got to be on the rail. But I think somewhere in there, they just chose to say, yep, we already showed him that. Let's give him a little different angle. And, maybe focus on the interaction between Cheeseburger and Trotter. And, oh, by the way, right behind them, for some reason, is the bald guy that, when he takes his survey, I think it's later.
Oh, is he one of those guys? Okay.
Yeah, he's the one, he's a cigar chomping guy.
Yes.
And,
all right. So I did notice that there's 3 guys that are standing behind them.
Yeah.
And I was starting to wonder, now that I realized that they're in the grandstand watching, that maybe one of them is Lauren Dreyfus. Because he's listed in the credits as a grandstand person. So that's, you don't know, Richard Dreyfuss' brother. And I never have seen him, but now I've been kind of looking. And now I got to look at this again because I'm telling you, I thought they were in a room, like a private room, where there's just like they're in the simulcast room. You know where the right? They have simulcast areas.
Yep.
And I'm thinking they're looking at one of those, and then I just realized it just before I was watching it again just before we came on. It's like, oh no, wait, no, they're just out.
Yeah, they're just 20 feet from the hamburger stand, right over there. And it's just a TV to keep you in the mix, and I don't know if it's maybe they didn't get, like maybe there's a scene that they cut where they couldn't get down there or something happened something may have drawn them to that TV because it is just out of nowhere like, wow, you've chosen this? Okay. And it's a terrible view.
All right, so it is a terrible view. I'm going to posit a theory, okay?
Uh-huh.
All right, so Trotter has gone for his first race where he does all the things that he normally does. He goes to Marty's bar and hangs out with the guys, goes down, watches, wins. It goes well, but now he's got this issue with Looney, goes back to Marty's bar. Everybody treats him like crap.
Yep.
And so maybe he's looking to avoid all of the regular people that are out on the rail. Now that he's won and, you know what, I've got this second race. Let me just kind of do this quietly by myself somewhere.
Right. That's not bad. And don't forget, he sneaks off and bets. You could be right? Because now, like I said, he is looking at a really big win no matter what happens here. So maybe there is some of, right, like I don't want to be with my regular people for any of those reasons too.
Right, because either it's a really big win or it's a really big loss.
Yep.
And if it's a really big loss, he'll feel terrible, and he probably knows that everyone else will feel probably pretty good about the fact that he lost again.
Yeah, you're right.
And it's also, right, all right, so just to spoil, just to describe the rest of the scene, they watch the horse race. They're both cheering. Eventually they're saying yes in unison, and then it wins, right? And then the funniest thing ever is Cheeseburger takes off the gold chain and gives it to him.
Yes.
I'm never going to forget you for this.
Yeah.
And then it's a very impressive kiss on the mouth that he plants on
Without
Trotter.
a doubt.
Like dead
Yes.
on the mouth.
Yes.
Who's swatting him off. It's really funny.
It's hilarious, and
It's really funny.
this is one of the moments where, okay, look, Cheeseburger has been stealing it. Every time you see him, he's
Yes.
the funniest thing happening.
Absolutely.
And in this moment when he kisses him, I'm so impressed with what Dreyfuss does, because Dreyfuss treats it like he is being attacked by like an old-fashioned mauler, a masher, right? He's like he looks like a female victim, and then he even starts smacking him, like you said, like it would be like a lady with her purse in the 60s.
You know what? That is
right?
absolutely perfect. Yes, it's a very old style, like a comedy.
Yes.
That's happening. Yes,
Right.
And he even like after he runs away, he still swings at him.
Yes!
like
Right.
to end the scene. It's
You
so
could have,
funny.
yes, any other man who's repulsed by what just happened could have easily fashioned a fist and punched him at least one time, right?
Right.
He never does that. He's just smacking him with his program.
Yeah.
Again, like it's the purse. You stay away. How could you? And he's even defending himself the same way. He's throwing the arms up, like, oh my gosh, lady, get off of me. Yeah. I'm sorry. I
Okay.
thought you wanted it. Yeah.
So, but the thing that gets me about this part is that if you think about the other three races in this movie, they're all really big, right? Charity is a big race, and I mean how the movie treats it. The movie treats it, oh my God, it's the first race. Of course, you got to make that big. And then Fleet Dreams is also, that's the one that in the Jockey Club that's coming up later on. That's also a big one where he freaks out and we're all watching and right?
Yes, you feel the
then
stakes.
and then the final race. But here, we don't even see the horses running. We're just watching them watch the It's so low key. It's, I don't know, like if you were watching this for the first time, I could see you thinking, wait, did he win? Is that it? Is it over?
Yep. Yeah.
What's with that choice?
It's like we were talking earlier. I feel like it's almost like they made a decision to just advance the plot here and make it as entertaining as possible. I don't know exactly why. Maybe they feel like, all right, we've already, it would be too similar to the charity race, if we gave it all the pomp. But it's weird. It's a 60-second scene. That's great. But like you said, yes, if you're really plot driven here, you feel like, I remember the same thing. Again, I'm seeing it with a ton of experience about what's going on. So if I'm not fully caught up, then that the mainstream audience is going to have that same question. And I'll say I was looking for more. I was looking for more confirmation, right? Now, I can only guess that, because like you said, they're doing the yes, yes, yes. I think he's winning it handily because of that.
Yeah.
Right?
It sure seems like it was
He
a
must
runaway.
break away, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I'll tell you, look, being invested in Jay and his destiny here, I'm feeling relieved about that. So that's a good thing. It's like, yep, okay, good. Well, we're winning this one. But it is weird that they treat, his full investment. It's the first time he's let it ride.
Right.
So
That's true.
right. I don't know. I'm guessing that there were some decisions involved. It wasn't just like, all right, the next scene is we're just going to have him watch it on TV. I'm sure somehow some factors got involved and they said, all right, yeah, for these reasons, it'll pace better if we do this, whatever it is. But it does leave you a little bit wanting.
I think you're right. You're right. It does feel like that maybe this was done for either pacing or maybe we're punctuating our acts with the horse races, or maybe we just feel like if we do this 4 times, it's too many for people to get caught up in.
Right.
Or maybe we just don't have enough time and money to stage these races again.
Yeah, it could. Right, could be any combination. And I guess if we're looking at it that way, sadly, even though all of them feel like if you did this with any of them, we'd have the same problem, I guess this would be the one you cut, even though it's the first one he lets it ride. So, like, maybe there are bigger stakes involved in any of the other ones. When you look at it, right, you can't do this with the first one. There's no way.
No.
You can't do it with the third one. The third one is like when he gets to the level of, all right, this changed my life.
Yes.
So you can't mess with that one. And then, of course, you can't mess with the last one.
Well, yeah, that's your finale. You got to have your finale.
So this one is, so if it's any of these factors, like we said, it's got to be this one that you mess with.
All right, so let's move on, because if the kiss on the mouth wasn't enough of a confirmation to let you know, right? Because I think maybe that's a tip right there.
Yeah.
Right? I'll never forget you for this. Then he goes and he collects the money.
Yes.
Now he's won. We're going back to the ticket seller. We're going back to him for the third time. And ticket seller, not been so nice to Trotter so far. And this is the first time that the ticket seller I would describe as non-hostile towards Trotter's appearance. Still not his friend yet, but he is non-hostile regarding his appearance, showing up to collect his money.
Somewhat tolerant.
Yeah, I would say he's somewhat tolerant.
I don't.
Yes.
Yeah, it's so right. Yeah, he definitely changes, right? Because the previous one, I get caught by this every time that I've seen the movie. He gets almost like he's about to smile, but what's really happening is contempt is coming over his face. So it looks like he's ready to give in right there, but no, it's really like, oh, you piece of whatever the hell his problem. Yes. It's worsened by him returning, and now he's won. And you're right, it's like, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the fact, because one of the things he says that I always love, you can't win this kind of money without owning up.
Yes,
so
that is
he's got to fill out forms, he's got to pay taxes on the money. And of course, I am at the same time, I'm experiencing this through him. And so I'm thinking about, oh, that's right. This is one of those where you win more than, I think it's 60 times your bet or something like that. There's a certain number times your bet that you win. It's not a dollar amount. It's not like if you win more than X. Although I think if you do a $2 bet and you win more than 600, that happens. But after that, it's based on how much times your bet you've won.
So I have a question for you. So in a situation like that, right? So I know, because I've seen the movie, Trotter has won $2,450.
Right.
So now, do they already take the taxes out?
You can choose one way or the other.
Oh,
especially back.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
especially
you can
back
choose,
then.
I'm gonna do it myself when I get home.
You can. You definitely can, which I have done. And I've done it both ways.
Wait. Did you actually do it?
You mean send in the money?
Yeah.
You mean put it on my taxes?
Yeah.
Well, I will tell you that you're talking about a time when... Yes. So
many years ago. Many years ago.
So first of all, you see, we weren't, as educated on maybe the ins and outs of this sort of thing. It's possible that I might need an exemption, and I'm not up in space like Kevin Bacon right now, so I don't know if this is gonna work.
Okay, so it's possible. Who could say at this point? We're talking 30 years ago in your case.
It's hard to and to quote Clint Howard, that's no joke. They'll come down on him. They'll get him. Do you remember that? It's so silly. It's so silly. They all think they're treating it so trivially.
Is this the best role that Ron Howard has given Clint Howard? Is in Apollo 13? I don't know.
They're all okay. Look, I don't know. He always gets a nice little nugget.
Yeah.
He's got a. It's amazing.
As this podcast has proven, you always have to take care of your brother. You know what I mean?
Right?
Okay, so now back to the ticket seller.
Yeah.
I think a real indicator, and maybe it's the fact that he's now won twice and the ticket seller feels like he should take him a little more seriously.
Yeah, maybe.
But as he's having him fill out the forms, he takes the money, right? Counts out the $24.50 that he's going to give him, and then he puts it in two piles.
Yep.
And then asks him for the shoes.
Yep.
As in, hey, look, I know your little goofy routine. I'm going with it. And Trotter, yes, takes his shoes out, and you'll be very happy that he puts them in very nicely. He does not.
Oh yeah, it's new
pile
money.
them in.
Yeah, it's new money. So right, it's not a big mess.
Yes, it's not a big mess, right? To go right back into the shoes. But like that act that he's like, yep, I'm now rolling with you a little bit here. And then Trotter very playfully musses his hair.
Yes.
As he leaves.
That's, yeah.
His reaction to it is like, right? Kind of like, right? So,
yeah, I think he even like he blows it up. You know, like he does like a, right? He poofs it.
Yeah, I gotta say, Robbie Coltrane in this small role that has no name, absolutely, he just kills this little part, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So anyway, I would say not 100% on board, but this is the first time we're getting there. We're now moving in the other direction.
It's a wonderful arc that it's just a tiny little subplot, right?
Yes.
But it's like it's a bromance.
Yes, this is
where
where it starts to happen.
Right. And it's just like in a typical, romantic comedy. It starts out, I can't stand you. Oh my gosh, you repulse me, whatever. And then eventually they warm up, and then before then it's love. So, and it's, it's just great because for me, when it finally turns full, I'm so relieved because, man, this first time around, I'm stressing hard. For the stakes involved here, we need him on our side. We need him.
Come on, man.
Yeah, so it's so awesome. Yeah, so when and Jay makes all the moves, right?
Right.
There are no moves to be made unless Jay's making them. And it's another example where, okay, just character-wise, we see Jay, he's got that blow-up personality. Like, it's just hilarious, right? Like, he'll be talking to you like this and then go immediately too crazy!
Yes.
So it makes me... It makes me... he seems like a lovable asshole in those moments, right?
By the way, that's also how he does his Ethel Merman impression.
That's awesome. So if, when you see that, and then there are these moments where he seems like he's genuinely wonderful. And it's like, I don't know, he's so multifaceted as a character because you wouldn't, normally keep that, but he's so damn sweet. Look, again, he's throwing the odds, he's throwing the tip to Cheeseburger.
That is the end of the scene. Trotter, from here, the next thing that's going to happen, he's going off to the Jockey Club, which is very exciting.
Yeah, I think it's just probably, it is kind of a turning point because he's gone to, all right, like we've talked about, the $710 in 1989 money and today's money doesn't make any. It's a pretty good day. Of course, being a hard, I think we have to call him a hardcore gambler. It would at that point, it definitely just would equate to one of the better days. That's all. It's not like he'd be telling this. Okay, if this happened to you, right? What the $50 charity bet and then the $700 win in whatever terms. This would be something you'd be still talking about just right there on its face. This would be like, let me tell you that story.
Oh, no, there is no doubt about it.
Right. Okay. So now for Jay, at that moment, I'm saying that it's just, a day that was good. It wasn't one of the bad days. So here, though, when it becomes $2,400, and now we haven't really done, I think when we did this, we said it was a little like 2.5 times the money now. So that would be like, what, $6,000? So that's, now for him even, that's like, yeah, I'll remember that day. So there's a turning point here where he definitely has to consider legitimately, do I get out of here and then celebrate what a great day this was? And
What I think about is that the horse's name that wins is Faith Healer. And so this is sort of like helping him to believe in whatever is happening in the day. And he has really changed from the moment that, when he makes that bet and he drops the phrase, let it ride. Like, he doesn't bet it meekly. It's like, yeah, I'm here, I'm in. And it's because faith healer. It's his faith has been healed with this. And now with this horse winning, it's just, now he doesn't even go to the Jockey Club to watch this. Watches it downstairs in the grandstand. Now that he's won, now we're going to ascend up.
Yep.
Right?
He's transformed. Yeah. And the thing is, you're right, because you probably don't realize this first time you're seeing it, that the name, that the faith healer has a lot to do with anything, because it doesn't happen until after that you really see what you're talking about, which is that he's got a different look on things. And the funny thing is, as the audience, we aren't exactly there. It's not like our faith is healed. So we're still sweating it for him when he's making any of these decisions. But it is definitely, it's a tremendous turning point, and I totally agree that was with great intent that it was called that. And, when you think back to Quinella pointing it out, the name of it, so, we keep hearing it. Why do you like this faith healer? That's where it's like, you realize, yes, they're drawing to not just, why are you betting on another horse? It's faith healer.
Yes.
So,
what is it about faith healer?
Yes. Yeah. I know it's absolutely beautiful, but yes, I say that is probably the biggest import of this scene, is that from here on, we've transitioned as a character.
Thank you for listening to this episode of The Jockey Club. This episode was hosted and produced by me, Dan Delgado. Thank you to my guest, Eric Delgado. Our theme music is from Epidemic Sound, and our cover art is by Sean Labrie. If you enjoyed this episode, and I certainly hope that you did, then you can help the show out by buying me a coffee. Yes, this is me asking you for a donation, you degenerate gambler fan. And there is a link in the show notes on how to do it. But if you're saving up all your pennies to bet on the 4-horse, well then, I certainly understand that. You can still support the show by leaving a free 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you may be listening to this. That's right, it is free for you to leave a review for this program. You can contact me if you want through email. It's dan@moviemaker.com. On Twitter, I am @_Dan_Delgado. Or even better, I am on the Repod app, which is a very fine way to not only listen to podcasts, but to interact with podcast hosts like me. Find it in your app store, and then come on by and say hello. This has been Dan Delgado for The Jockey Club. And remember, sometimes you could be walking around lucky and not even know it.